Well, all right, well, since last month was Black History Month, I wanted to do something a little special about, some of the people in our past, in our history, who are, African American. So everybody's heard of Christmas addicts. We've all heard the Buffalo Soldiers. We've all heard of Michael Jackson and the Tuskegee Airmen and Prince and everything like that, right? Well, I found this. I was going through my Facebook page and this gentleman popped up on my screen. And his name is Eugene James Ballard. And come to find out, he was the first African American aviator in World War I. Which I did not know, so I got to reading about him a little more, and one of the things that I found out about him, that his nickname was the Black Swallow of Death.
Oh, wow.
And that's because of his courage that he had on his missions, and he lived a very colorful life, in which most of it was done over in Europe. So I thought maybe I'd give a little presentation on him, so we all can get educated here. So here we go. Here goes nothing. All right. From what I understand, Mr. Bullard was born in Columbus, Georgia, in 1895.
Wow.
So he was one of 7 children, and he had a very minimal education, but he taught himself how to read, which will later help him succeed in his later life. But here's something that I found fascinating. In 1906, or what is that? 1912, he stowed away on a cargo ship bound for Ardennes, Scotland, and for that, he was on his way to Germany, but he ended up in London, and he performed in vaudeville and supported himself as a performer there for 2 years, and he first appeared in Paris for a long time. But that was his destination for at first. He wanted to go to Paris. He was infatuated with the French and the lifestyle there. So he was also a part-time boxer too. So he ended up in Paris, France, in a boxing match. So that's how he came to become. That's how he got to Paris in 1913. But so he was 19 years old when World War I broke out. Okay. So he joined the French Foreign Legion as the Moroccan division of the 170th Infantry Division, and he was awarded numerous medals for his bravery, and as far as combat concerns. Okay. So and he was seriously wounded at the Battle of Verdun. Everybody's heard of that Battle of Verdun, correct? Back in World War I, it was one of the battles in the first Battle of Verdun was in 1916, and he was seriously wounded, so they pulled him from the infantry line. So in 1916, he decided he wanted to be a pilot. So he signed up for the French Air Corps. But first he was going to be a gunner, and then he decided to become a pilot. So, he quickly became a pilot, and one of his things that he had a pet monkey he used to fly with him, and he had a name for his pet monkey, and his pet monkey name was Jimmy. So I thought that was kind of odd. And he flew over 20 missions, and he shot down at least one German aircraft. So, like, this is something I found very disturbing once I started learning more about him, is that when America became involved in World War I, he immediately went to the Americans and asked if he could be a pilot. And of course they said no, but they gave him all kinds of excuses, like, he was enlisted and everything like that. But we all know the reason why they didn't want him to become a pilot, right? Or something. I know, because he was black. All right. So then after that, the United States wanted the French to not allow him to fly anymore because he was a black pilot. So the French did what they asked, and they pulled him from the line, so he didn't fly anymore. So after the war, after the World War I, he settled in to become a nightclub owner in Paris. So he had 2 clubs, which is setting us up for the next part in the war of World War II, where he was a kind of espionage, where he spied on the Germans sitting in this club, and he spoke fluent German. So after that, French counterintelligence. So by the end of World War II, he was a national hero, and he moved to New York, and then he sold perfume, and he got married, and he had 2 daughters, and he operated the elevator at the RCA building, which today is run by the Today Show. So in 1959, he met Charles de Gaulle, traveled to New York to meet him, because they knighted him in 1959. So after the year after that, Charles de Gaulle went to and met him personally in New York. So after that, he died in 1961 of stomach cancer, and which was one of those things that happen to people. We all have to come and go, and he was honored posthumously. He was honored by the Smithsonian Institute for Aeronautical and Flight. But I was just thinking, there's a lot of things that minorities have done for this country, but we as a people don't really know about. And I think that's very important history that, people just don't bother mentioning, or just don't mention it at all. But, a lot of minorities have done a lot in this country to set the tone to where we're at today. So, thank you.